Abuse, in general, is incredibly prevalent in most societies. But elder abuse is one area that deserves particular attention. Many people abuse elders as a means of getting ahead, despite the impact this may have on their victims. Multiple forms of abuse can be carried out when someone is trying to manipulate or defraud the elderly, which, understandably, has various negative effects on their well-being. Types of elder abuse. Physical abuse. This occurs when one person intentionally uses their body to hurt an older person. It can have serious and long-lasting consequences for the victim, and can come in the form of slapping, punching, hair pulling, and choking. It can also be more subtle, like squeezing an arm tightly or pushing someone. Indirect physical abuse includes things like spitting or throwing objects. These all can cause trauma for the victim and have an impact on their entire life. It's important to recognize and address physical abuse to prevent further harm and help those affected heal. Have you noticed any bruises, cuts, burns, or broken bones on someone that seem intentional or that don't match their explanation? These could be signs of physical abuse. Other signs can include being afraid of physical contact, having trouble walking or sitting, or not wanting to undress for normal activities. Sometimes the victim might try to hide their injuries or avoid being seen by others. It's important to remember that physical abuse isn't always visible, and that some victims might be scared or unwilling to talk about what's happened. Emotional abuse. This type happens when someone tries to control an older person by manipulating their emotions through criticism, embarrassment, shame, or blame. Emotional abuse is often used as a way to control the victim by discrediting and silencing them. It can be quite hard to recognize emotional abuse, but sometimes it's very overt and visibly manipulative. Someone who is experiencing emotional abuse might have their self-esteem slowly chipped away at until they doubt themselves entirely. They might also be scared to speak out about the abuse or leave the relationship because the abuser has made them feel like their feelings and experiences aren't valid. Emotional abuse can involve psychological tactics like gaslighting, in which the abuser makes the victim doubt their own perceptions of reality. It can also involve emotional blackmail, like using guilt or threats to get the victim to do what the abuser wants, or to keep the victim in the relationship. The victim might also be isolated from friends and family in order to increase the abuser's control over them. Over time, the victim might feel confused, ashamed, or afraid, and they might be hesitant to seek help or even talk about what's happening. Neglect. This refers to the ongoing failure to meet someone's basic needs. Neglect is most commonly in the form of child abuse, but is also prevalent in the abuse of elders. This can appear as physical neglect, informational neglect, emotional neglect, and medical neglect. Physical neglect. Basic needs, such as food, clothing, water, or shelter, are not met, or are not well supervised or provided. Informational neglect. Poor communication and lack of explanations result in misunderstandings, or a complete lack thereof, even though it is important to keep elderly individuals informed on decisions being made that will affect their standard of living. Emotional neglect. This can be expressed through ignoring, humiliating, intimidating, or isolating an individual. Medical neglect. This occurs when proper health care, including dental care, is not provided to the individual, or when the individual is being denied medical advice. Similar to emotional abuse, neglect can be tough to spot. Some of the signs do not necessarily mean that neglect is at play, but if multiple signs begin occurring and remain consistent for some time, there may be a problem. Neglect can also be intentional or unintentional, in which ignorance and denial often play a part. It can be identified in a variety of ways, such as unusual weight loss, malnutrition, and dehydration, all of which suggest that the elderly individual's dietary requirements have not been met. Untreated physical problems such as wounds, bruises, or bed sores. These things indicate poor medical treatment, as these issues have not been identified or cared for.